Hi everybody, my name is Jim and welcome back to another episode of The Lake Effect Gardener. Greetings! Hello and welcome back to the channel, my friends. It's been a while. Yes, indeed it has. A lot has gone on. And it's time to play a little bit of catch up. So I'm here, I'm still functioning, and it is a brand new year. It's 2023. And with that brings all the promise of a brand new growing season. Now, I've got a lot to cover, but I'm not going to go into great detail only because I don't want this to be an hour long. However, I will be talking about a few things regarding what's happening in the garden. I'm going to give you a tour of the garden and a couple of other things. But first and foremost, thank you to all my fans who have reached out, all of my subscribers, all of my subscribers who have reached out and have messaged me and asking me how things are going, et cetera, et cetera. And I have to say things are getting better. And so I just kind of want to explain kind of my 2022 in a nutshell. It was not a good year for me in the way of gardening, not so much being able to grow anything. I did have some pretty decent crops, and there are a couple of videos that show you that. But I was dealing with some health issues, so nothing major. Just to boil it down, as I do every February, I went to Florida. Last year was a little different because instead of flying, I just decided that I would drive. So we drove down to Florida. It was a very long trip. It was over 24 hours. Did stop in the middle and then picked up the day after. Long story short, when I got home from that trip, I was in a lot of pain, a lot of back pain, really very uncomfortable, very unpredictable, but just the same, a lot of pain in my back. And I've been struggling with that for quite some time, and it would get better, and I thought to myself, well, okay, things are getting better, and then it would get worse, and then it would get better, and then it would get worse. And then finally, it took a toll on me during the growing season. I didn't have the energy or the gumption or the mojo to get out and do stuff in the garden. I was kind of walking on eggshells in a way. I just didn't want to, hurt myself or overdo it. Fast forward to December of this year, and I really did a tune on my back when I was at school lifting some heavy instruments. So I immediately made an appointment with a chiropractor, and I got in with a wonderful chiropractor. She's absolutely amazing. She has changed my life. And I mean, I was in really, really rough shape. She gave me my little panel, and she was like checking off all these different vertebrae that were herniated and everything else, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but I've started my treatments, and they have made a world of difference. I have more energy. I can sleep. I wake up with energy. All's well that ends well. And now that we're into the new year and a new growing season is upon us, I have such a renewed sense of everything. I'm really, really excited. So that's what is going on. I'm on a really good path, so I'm excited about that. And I'm really excited to show you a couple of things. I did get my packet of seeds from the MI Gardener, and all of these wonderful, there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of seed packets. Most of the stuff I've grown before. And then I've also gotten a package from the lovely Robin Miller from Chicagoland. who is just wonderfully fabulous and just very, very thoughtful. And I just thought this was very sweet. I'd also like to say thank you to Nancy Rudy for sending me a lovely Christmas card. It was very, very nice. It was a lovely card, and she had some very lovely things to say, so thank you, Nancy. I'm not going to get into this just yet because I think it's important to go out into the garden and see what's going on. I filmed this a few days ago. So let's go out into the garden and just take a look at what has happened. Remember, we went through a November storm, which dumped 6.5 feet in a matter of a few days, okay? I did post some videos about that. And then Christmas, we had a blizzard, a literal blizzard. And we don't throw that term around lightly in Buffalo. We could say it's blizzard-ish, but we never say that we have a blizzard unless we have one. And we really did have one. So an additional 6 feet of snow and extremely high winds. And there was some damage to the garden, but you know, when one door closes, another door opens, and I'm not concerned. I'm excited to kind of get out there and make some changes. So without further ado, let's go outside and let me show you exactly what has happened. It's a beautiful day today. Gorgeous, freezing, but the sun is out, something that we haven't really seen around here in quite some time. We've had a big thaw after our blizzard, and most of the snow is gone, and then we had another snowfall following it. So you can see here, this is all ice, and it was, you know, it was a mud pit earlier before the big freeze came through. So I'm gonna maneuver my way up this icy path. Should have worn my ice skates. So here's the this is currently impenetrable. I'm just going to leave that for now. So this was some of the damage from the blizzard and the huge snowfall that we had back in November, 6 feet. And the weight of the snow just kind of took this area down here. So I'm gonna circle back and try one of the other entrances. Just taking my time here so I don't fall. Again, over here, here's another one of the entrances into the garden, and the weight of the snow had broken down this trellis here. I just pulled it off and threw it to the side. So, I mean, it's decorative for sure, but just the same. I'm gonna see if I can repair that. But this is, now please don't judge me. I pretty much had to stop taking care of my garden in around October. It was just, maybe it was November. It was right after I got my garlic in. So there's still, I mean, a lot of it's covered by snow, thank goodness, but I just didn't get around to it. And then the snow started flying, and that was it for the season. So again, weight of the snow took down this little decorative trellis that I had hanging over the doorway here. I thought that I had secured them well enough, but you know, it's kind of flimsy wood. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that it came down. Here is my greenhouse, what's left of it, completely collapsed. I really haven't been back here since it happened. I just noticed it. Yeah. It's done for. It's done. But since I had the tunnel put up, it was really a space that I didn't quite use. Oh, let's go over top. Yeah, the weight of the snow, it could not. This poor aluminum greenhouse could not support the weight. And that's all there is to it. And the snowfall was so quick, and it was so heavy and wet. There wouldn't have really been any way for me to come out here and clean it up. I was pretty much housebound, so that's that. So I'm thinking maybe I'll extend this bed straight to the side of the garage, and I'll be able to grow some more stuff, take some trellising down. I might even move everything back a little bit. We'll see. This is where my garlic is planted. It did not sprout up in time for the cold weather to come in, so I'm hoping that when we have a bit of a thaw and a bit of a warm up in a couple of days, maybe even longer, that it will come up. I'm not sure if it will or not, to tell you the truth. My cucumber trellis was also something, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this will be able to pop back up. I'm not worried about that. But just the weight of the snow sitting on top of it caused it to collapse. Craziness. I might just very well get rid of this path and just make one long bed. We shall see. But all the chicken wire that I had surrounding each of the beds were crushed by the snow, so those are all going to have to be taken down. It's sad, but it is what it is. Same with over in where I had my brassicas. I had some gorgeous kale and some Swiss chard that was doing really, really well straight up until the end of the growing season. I was hoping that I could perhaps get some kale, at least some kale, to harvest later on, but again, it all got completely crushed by the snow. The chicken wire collapsed as well, and once it thawed, it was open season to all the bunnies and whatnot. So yeah, the apple tree is done. It was dying, you know, it was already dead. You can see the leaves here are, you know, when you see leaves like that hanging onto a tree and it's not an oak tree, you pretty much know that part, you know, that tree is done for. It is what it is. That's going to be the theme of this. It is what it is. Mother Nature. Little blue barn. Roof collapsed. And there, so I'm going to have to, once everything thaws and everything, and I'm going to have to get in there and hopefully try to save that. I'm honestly surprised that it's still standing from the weight of the snow. We had some limbs come down. Lots of them. There was one, I don't know if you can see it, on top of the tunnel. That's where we're headed now, to show you the destruction there. But, yeah. So, my fault. I mean, I picked this spot because it was kind of out of the way, but strategically putting a tunnel between mature trees, probably not the best idea. So, let's see what we got in here. Okay. Yeah, I didn't do any cleanup in here at all, but you can see what I've done. So the bracing has completely bent if it hasn't broken. And when I came out here after the snowfall, this was definitely in the shape of the letter A. It was flat-sided. So I'm gonna have to take this all down, take the cover off, and see what I can do about, I don't know, about rebuilding this without the cheap, flimsy aluminum that they've been, you know, that I've been using in here. I'm confident that I'll be able to, and I do have a brand new cover for it. But right now, it's literally, the bracing is holding everything up. So, I'm pleased that the bracing that I did put up there managed to keep it from collapsing completely into itself. That would have been very difficult. Just trying to latch this here. That would have been very upsetting for me because, as you know, come on now, as you know, I've already dealt with that once. And that was a bit of a mess. It was
a huge job, and I thought that I had taken measures to remedy that, but I'm gonna have to turn you off for a second so I can latch this. There we go. Yeah, so that's the current state of my garden. It's in really, really rough shape, but I am feeling a renewed sense of inspiration this coming spring to get in here and to really shake things up. Here's another one that collapsed. I think this will just pop back into place. We'll see. Yeah, so that's really where I am, where the garden is right now. And I'm not, this isn't a pity party for me at all. Extenuating circumstances, some within my control, some out of my reach, were the main reasons why the garden has gotten to this point. But every new season brings its new challenges, and every new growing season gives you a new sense of hope and and a new challenge to overcome and to take care of. And I'm feeling pumped, and I'm feeling excited that I'll be able to fix everything and take care of it and bring this back into play. I'm definitely going to be changing a lot up when it comes to how much I'm going to be growing this year, what I'm going to be growing this year. I'm having a conversation with one of my YouTube friends not too long ago. We talked about what we're going to be changing, and I'm thinking that this new bed that I built back here, I don't know if I'm going to be bringing it back online this year. If I do, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. These two beds are my problem beds, and mostly it's because of roots from this tree and from this tree. The roots in the bed are really, really bad, and I really bust my rear side every spring trying to get these beds ready to grow in. And do I have as much success as I would say down here on these beds? No. So is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? So we talked about it, and I was saying to her that I'd really want to concentrate more on making sure that I'm growing things that I'm actually going to harvest with regularity, if it's something I'm going to eat fresh, or if it's something that I'm going to put up in large quantities so that I have food over the winter. And that's the plan. I'm going to keep the fresh eating at a minimum. It's just me. I don't have to plant, 50 cucumber plants. That's really kind of absurd for one person, and I give away a lot of my produce as well. I'm constantly bringing bags over to my parents and to my siblings, and I've given some to neighbors and things like that. And it's just like, I could use that space with a little bit more. I don't know. I could use it more. I could use it wisely. Same with like zucchini. Sometimes zucchini growing is a bust. Sometimes it's overabundant. And the past couple of years, I've had quite an abundance of them. I think I may have cracked the code in this garden for growing zucchini, but do I really need to have a half a dozen plants of each variety? No, I don't. So maybe just grow what I need, what I'm going to eat fresh. I've got more zucchini relish packed away that I don't think I'm ever going to get to, but I felt bad. I didn't want to get rid of the food. So maybe just a couple of plants, and I can eat it fresh, and bake with it and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm headed. I don't want to waste my time taking care of things that I'm not going to be able to eat on my own. And then at the end of the day, feeling completely overwhelmed that I have not, harvested and or put up food. I just don't want food waste. Ugh. Not after all the trouble I go through to get these plants started and into the ground. It's biting off more than I can chew. Pardon the pun. So that's kind of the idea. Yes. Winter squash, corn, those are going to be relocated. I've already talked to my sister who just bought a farm, and I think I'm going to be doing a Three Sisters garden there, and that's going to free a lot up here. I'll be able to plant and grow other things and not have to worry about, my winter squash or whether or not the raccoons are going to completely decimate my corn. It's only 1 year I've had a decent corn crop. It's very, very sad. So instead of, doing the same thing over and expecting different results every year, the definition of insanity, I think that perhaps I might take things in a different direction. So yeah, that's where we're headed, folks. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling positive about it. And like I said, I kind of have a renewed sense of energy when it comes to doing things in my garden this year. Last year was such a bummer. It really was. So that's all from out here, guys. I need to go inside and warm up. It is, although sunny, freezing.
Crazy. It is. And I am just, right now, I am not dwelling on the fact that I no longer have a greenhouse and my polytunnel is on a diet. I'm not dwelling on it. Those are projects that I'll get to. The greenhouse is going to come out. I'm going to make changes. I'm going to make lots of changes, and they're going to be good changes. I think they'll be good not only for producing food, but just for my overall sense of well-being. I've been honestly brainstorming things that I can do back there, and it's actually really, really exciting. So, yay, moving forward. So I wanted to show you what dear Robin has given to me. And, oh my goodness. This beautiful homemade card, first and foremost, with all these little thumbnails of all of her lovely crops, and this cute little picture of her right there. And in here, she is just telling me about some of the varieties that she sent to me, and I'll go over them one at a time, and some lovely things. So yeah, thank you so much, Robin. That was very sweet. A very, very lovely thing to come home to in my mailbox. So there's a lovely little mixture here. I'm using the word lovely often, but that's the excitement behind it all, I suppose. There's herbs, there are flowers, and there are some veg. So I'm excited to add this to my lineup. And I'm not going to go through all of the seeds. I'm going to save that for another video very soon on what I'm going to be growing. But first and foremost, these are all hand packaged. Okay, she put her own labels on here. We have a tall Snapdragon mix. I'm really excited about growing flowers this year. I want to spend as much time growing flowers as I am veg this year. So I'm excited to get these, very excited. I love Snapdragons, and the fact that they are as cold hardy as they are, and they seed so well, I'm definitely, I think this is going to be something that's going to continue to be a mainstay in my garden. So that's wonderful. She also sent, let's see here, a zinnia mix. I grow zinnias every year, so this is very welcome. Thank you so much. And they make lovely cut flowers, and the butterflies and the bees adore them. So hip hip hooray, fabulous. Zinnia mix, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Something that I never really grown are poppies. And it's usually because I never get around to sowing them early enough. Most poppies I find for this area need to be sown in the fall, or maybe even just smatter them out in the snow. They need that stratification in order to germinate. But this one says that it says delicate blooms catch every breeze starting midsummer if planted in early spring. So yes, and these are traditional red poppy. I'm going to really love growing these, not only for their beautiful blooms, but for their seed heads as well. And if I can keep these going, I would love for these to be a mainstay in my garden as well. She also sent me some heirloom butterfly salvia. Okay, and that's wonderful. Anything to attract the pollinators, and the colors look really, really nice. And it says easy to grow and low maintenance. Right up my alley. All right, so that's it for the flowers. And then we have some veg, which I'm excited about. First one is, let's see, Tim's Taste of Paradise Tomato. New release tomato flavor is supposed to rival Sun Gold. So, yay, that's exciting. This will be part of my eating garden. Very excited about that. Another Wild Boar Farms. I've never heard of Wild Boar Farms until I got this package. Brad's Atomic Grape Tomato. Another one that I will be putting in the the daily eating salad garden. Super. Arugula. I do love arugula. That's rocket to my friends across the pond, and it looks pretty bog standard. So I'm happy about that. I do love the bitter greens of arugula. I've also gotten this, and I'm really excited about this because this is something that I kind of came across in my search for different things to grow this year. And this is Aunt Molly's ground cherry. It's the best garden snack. I've always wanted to grow ground cherries, so I'm excited about that. She writes, sweet treat with hints of pineapple and citrus. Ooh, yes, and they are ripe when they fall off the bush. I'm going to have to put a cage around these because I think it's going to be a matter of whether I get them or the little rodents get them. So, yes, game on, rodents. All right. What else do we got here? These are herbs. A marvel of 4 seasons butterhead lettuce. Look how pretty those are. Yes, I want to grow a lot more greens this year. And with the price of lettuce, oh my gosh, definitely growing these this year. Tender green mustard spinach. And it's frost tolerant, and it's an heirloom. It's speaking all the right words to me. All right. And it's a Japanese green. Okay. So it's neither mustard nor spinach. Wow. It's milder than mustard, but it's like spinach. Hardy and productive plants are slow to bolt and tolerate cold. That's going to be wonderful. This is going to be completely new. This is an onion, a bunching onion or scallion, Italian red of Florence, which I love it. I absolutely love it. This is a different kind of onion. It's an Italian onion with excellent flavor and attractive dark red skin. A beautiful addition to antipasto and other things. And quick side note, I actually was in Florence when I was 15 years old. It was one of the most amazing cities I had ever visited in my life. So, yay, that's wonderful. Some herbs. We have basil lemon drop. Okay, so that's going to add to my repertoire. I'm going to be growing a lot of basil this year. I made pesto this year with all the basil that I harvested, and it's been lovely during these freezing cold winter months. That little taste of summer. So nice. And then a dill ducat. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It produces more foliage than other dill types, which is great because I usually grow the mammoth variety, and it does grow big, but it doesn't grow quite a number of of the fern-like leaves, which, you know, you can use for pickles and stuff like that. I do use the seeds quite a bit to flavor. The seeds of the dill is very much like the seeds of the fennel, where it has a very strong flavor. So like last year when I did my pickles, I did them using dill seeds, and I had a proliferation of them because of the amount of seeds I got off of those mammoth dills. So this is going to be fun. Wonderful. And last is a cilantro slow bolt, okay, also known as coriander, and all parts of the plant are edible. And let's see, it says it's best in spring and fall for the cooler temperatures, but it is a slow bolting variety, so we'll see for all those Mexican and Indian dishes. We'll just give that a try. So that's all of the lovely things that Robin sent to me. My goodness. Oh, she wrote in her letter that a lot of the stuff that she has been saved. And she did share that, now where did I read it? Blah, blah, blah. Where did I see it? Use an ice cream. It has been saved for years. Oh, you know, we were messaging each other. That's where I had read it. And I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm not going to read exactly what Robin wrote. But she did say she joined the Door County, Wisconsin Seed Library group, and which I think is great. And I'm guessing from this, she had mentioned that her mother-in-law lived there, and which is why there's that Wisconsin connection there. As we know, dear Robin's from Chicagoland. So she packed 261 of these seeds for the library giveaway. Amazing. Amazing. That's like the amount of patience and perseverance. I give you a lot of credit. I think that's wonderful, and that you're sharing them as you are. That's very, very thoughtful. She thought she would bless a few garden friends too. So very lovely. Thanks again, Robin. Thank you so much. So yes, moving forward, I think I'm going to get underway with planning what I'm going to be doing back there. I've got a pretty good idea in my brain what's going to be happening. The loss of the greenhouse is not a big deal. I can renegotiate what's happening back there, which is totally fine. I'm going to grow more flowers. I'll fix the tunnel. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I will, by hook or by crook. And then I will be doing a seed reveal of what I'm going to be growing for this year, give or take a few, perhaps. And then I need to get underway with planting in my onion sets, my onion seeds, I should say, because I'm growing them from seed this year, my peppers, and my eggplant. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to go crazy, especially with the eggplant. I'm not going to go crazy with that because I get more than I can actually eat. Everyone's pretty much sick of it towards the end of the season, and I'm not really, I can make soups and stews like that, but I'd rather use the space some different, in a different way. It'll be part of my fresh eating garden, so that's that. So that is it for me, guys. Back in the saddle. I keep saying that, but I think I feel like I really mean it this time. And I really hope that everybody is just dreaming of nicer weather and better temperatures and getting your forks into the soil and what have you. It's going to be here before you know it. I've got my countdown all ready to go. The first countdown was football season, and for us Buffalonians, that has come to a screeching end. So then I have my February trip to Florida. When we get back from that, it's daylight savings, so the clocks go back. It's going to be nice and dark, like much later. Week after that, it's spring. We're going to be into the Lenten season, so it's going to be hot cross buns galore, Easter, Memorial Day, summer vacation. I can taste it. It's so close. Even though it's January, it's really not that close, but I'm not going to say that to myself. So, anywho, wonderful seeing you all. I hope you're all doing really, really well. And I'll be back soon for some seed talk. Who doesn't love a good seed talk? And there's so many in here. Cannot wait. Take care, everybody. So long.